Hey everybody, hope you're well. It's Crypto Caesar from Crypto Caesar Capital. It's the 4th of January 2023, and this is the first video of the year. I wish you and all your families a happy and prosperous 2023. And I'm fairly sure that we are due some more upside than downside this year than last. So let's hope for that. Anyway, I want to start on a positive note here, and I want to try and argue a case for a Bitcoin bottom. Okay, I want to argue that case, and I think that there are 8 good reasons why that we could come to the conclusion that it is more probable than not that the Bitcoin bottom is in fact in. Obviously, there are more points than this, but these are the 8 points that I've picked that I think show a strong case to suggest that the Bitcoin bottom is in. The first point is this. Bitcoin tends to trend in 4-year cycles. So 4 years from bottom to bottom and 4 years from peak to peak. Or thereabouts, not exactly 4 years, but pretty much 4 years, give or take a couple of weeks. So we can see here, this was the Bitcoin bottom in January 2015. And this was the bottom in December 2018. So 205 bars, that's 205 weeks, because this is a weekly chart. So pretty much 4 years. And again, if we measure from the peak in December 2017 to the peak in November 2021, again, 205 bars. So peak to peak, 205 bars. Then, of course, if we measure from the bottom in 2017, which was around about the 10th of December or so, 2017, to the bottom we got the other day. Again, that is, or that big capitulating candle that we got from FTX, that is 205 bars. So it seems to me that the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin is still intact. And that is a good reason to suggest that the Bitcoin bottom could be in. But there's no point coming to an argument with only one reason, because it's going to be a weak argument. So let's look at other possibilities as well. So the second one, I would say, is that we have a bullish divergence on the weekly RSI. So if you look up the RSI, the relative strength index, on the weekly time frame, and you take a trend line on the price action, you have a lower low in price, but you have a higher low on the RSI. So we have a higher low here and a lower low here on price, and that's a divergence between the price and the RSI, which means that potentially the sellers are now becoming exhausted, and there could be a turnaround in the market. So that's the second reason why. The third reason why is that we have, if we look at the logarithmic MACD, we have a bullish cross on the MACD. So essentially, if you look here, when we bottomed out in 2018, the MACD came down and then it crossed, and then the momentum changed to the upside. So let me just map that out for you. Okay, so there's your cross here in 2019. Then you can see that we got a cross actually just before Sam Bankman-Fried decided to cause a problem with the market, but it doesn't matter. It crossed, so we have got a bullish cross on the logarithmic MACD on the weekly, which is actually quite a bullish indicator, and it suggests that there's going to be a change in momentum, and the histogram will start trending upwards. So that's the third reason why. The fourth reason we can use in this case is that there has been really good capitulating volume, really good capitulating volume on the weekly. You know, it's that is in fact the highest volume spike Bitcoin has had on the Coinbase chart. Let's have a look at that, map that out. That there, so it's significantly higher than all of the other capitulating volume. There's the COVID low capitulating volume, it was lower. There's the 2018 low capitulating volume, again it was lower. So I think that that's another good reason why that we could argue or put within the argument that the 4-year cycle low is in. And then let's have a look now at our fifth reason. Hang on. Okay, so now we're looking at Bitcoin on the monthly. Okay, firstly, have a look at the logarithmic MACD on the monthly. This is really quite interesting. Essentially, it's flashed pink. Okay, it in fact flashed pink in October. I think that was really the first signal that bottom could potentially be in, but then unfortunately it flashed red in November, and that was due to the FTX saga. But we've got two flashes now pink. Now, generally speaking, when this happens, as you can see, this is the 2018-19 bottom. Once the MACD flashes pink, that really does signal that the bearish momentum that we can see here, this huge bearish momentum has come to an end, you know, and it's what we call waning, and then the histogram flashes pink, and then there is a shift in momentum, and you can see that in every low in Bitcoin's history in its cycle. So here we have bearish momentum, really strong bearish momentum, then it wanes, it flashes pink, there's an accumulation period, then the MACD crosses and the histogram goes green. Same in 2018-19, bearish momentum coming down, it wanes, there's an accumulation period, sellers exhaust, MACD crosses, and then there's bullish momentum to the upside. So the likelihood here, the arguable case is that we are now in that accumulation period, bearish momentum's finished, and now it's starting to wane, and the histogram is going to start ticking pink more, and then there'll be a shift in momentum to the upside. So that's from a TA basis. Now, from a on-chain basis, we can look at the MVRVZ score, which basically is really good at sort of assessing whether Bitcoin is overvalued relative to its fair value or undervalued. And when it becomes hugely undervalued, it gets into this green zone here. And the this particular on-chain data, the MVRVZ score, has been really accurate at picking out the bottoms in Bitcoin's history. So we can see here the bottom in 2011-12 picked that out really well. The bottom in 2015 picked that out again really well. The bottom in 18-19 picked that out really well. And now we're back in right into these super oversold territories, and you know, it is suggesting to me that this is a bottoming process, and this certainly is an area that you should be, or I should be rather, accumulating Bitcoin. Okay, next, number 7 is the net unrealized profit and loss of Bitcoin with the fear and greed index overlaid. Here we can see that we are right down in the capitulation area. Again, great at picking bottoms. This was the bottom in 2018-19, you know, really down in this capitulative territory below 0.4, kind of where we are, or where we were at least close to the other day in November. And again, so that was the this is the 2018 bottom, this is the 2015 bottom, and this was the bottom in 2011-2012. So it's really good at picking out bottoms, and indeed it's good at picking tops. You know, when we get really you know, when we really there's hard FOMO within the market and there's euphoria, it picks it up in these blue areas. picked all the tops, almost picked the last top. We didn't quite flash blue, but very, very good at it. So another reason why I think that, you know, collectively speaking, that is a strong case for there being a Bitcoin bottom in. Now, there's one more. I said I'd give you 8. The other one is the RSI. It's not the strongest of arguments on its own, certainly. But collectively speaking, when you look at all the other reasons put together, this is one reason certainly to throw into the mix. Essentially, the RSI on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin has never been so low. It's historically low. It's 30. Well, it is now at 39.89. That's super, super low, super extreme oversold levels. Really, really oversold. And it suggests that potentially sellers are now exhausted. However, what you've got to remember with the RSI is that, you know, the RSI can remain oversold or indeed overbought for longer than you can remain solvent. But I think collectively speaking, all of those things, let's recap on them. The 4-year cycle low, okay, 205 bars. The RSI bullish divergence on the weekly, the MACD bullish cross on the weekly, the capitulative volume that we saw on the weekly. On the monthly chart, the logarithmic MACD, you know, bearish momentum is waning. The histogram has flashed pink for a 3rd time, and the RSI being at record oversold conditions. On chain, number 7, the MVRV score, right in that area of Bitcoin being undervalued, and of course the net unrealized profit and loss of Bitcoin essentially being in those sort of extreme oversold conditions. I think that if Bitcoin essentially can hold this area of around the 16K, 15.8K area by the end of this month, I think it's more probable than not that the Bitcoin bottom is in. So essentially, if we can hold this area of support toward the end of this month and finish January without having broken down and get another pink click on the monthly histogram, then I think it would be a really good case to say that the Bitcoin bottom is in. Okay, let's have a look to where we might be going in the short to medium term, so in about 6 to 8 months' time. So essentially, if we can, as I said a moment ago, if we can hold this area in support around about the 15.9, 16K area into next month, so the beginning of February, we get another pink click on the monthly logarithmic MACD on the histogram, then I think we could sort of say it's more probable than not that the Bitcoin bottom's in. But what we need to do is we need to hold this area. We can't really be breaking down from here. Now, what's really quite important for me is that we break above this area here of resistance. Okay, this area here, which was support, has now become quite fierce resistance, and that is around the sort of 19K mark. And it's also confluent with the 20 and 21 week moving average, which is the bull market support band. So that comes in around here. The bull market support band is clicking down now, ticking down. The bottom is about 18.3, top is about 19.3. So it's definitely confluent with this area of resistance, which was once support. So if we can get above there, my feeling is that we can then make a big sigh of relief or take a breath. Bitcoin investors can take a breath. So get above here. Okay, maybe a week or 2 week candle close above this area of about 19.2, certainly above the bull market support band. Then I think certainly there is a much higher chance then that the Bitcoin bottom is in. So that 51% turns to about 60, 70%. Then we can hold that, the support, which we should do, generally speaking, when we get above the bull market support band, like we did back in 2019 after that bear market. Once you get above it, generally you tend to trade above it for some time. So we just need to get above that bull market support band. Once we do that, then I think there's a good likelihood that we might start attacking this area, this big area of 29K. If we can get above 29K, then I think the next kind of area that's going to be of interest is about 36K. And then if we can get above the 36K mark, then we've got this sort of 46, 51K. So, you know, my most bullish case for Bitcoin is that we get above this area here around about the 19K mark. We trade above it, we trend above it for a couple of weeks at least. And then we start attacking this area of about 29K. This isn't going to happen, by the way, for a long time. This, at best, I think this might happen in about April, May time, maybe June time. Then, you know, best case scenario is that we make an attack for this sort of 46K area. Then we reject off there around about the August, September time. Then we go sideways, really boring into the halving, and then we start trending upwards for our all-time high come sort of mid to end 2024, beginning 2025. So there we are. Those are the 8 reasons for a Bitcoin bottom. As I say, I think if we can go throughout January without breaking down below those lows, then I think it's more probable than not that the Bitcoin bottom is in. Then if we can start trending and trading above that area that is now resistance at 19K, then I think there's a good chance then when we start to recover, momentum will shift. You know, everyone's perception of Bitcoin will shift a little bit, and we will have an attack at this 45, 46K area. Very similar type of structure that we had back in 2019 in the summer, where in fact we attacked 14K, which is pretty close to the all-time high. Okay, it's you know, this move to 50K and down again would be a very similar structure. I mean, look, we can do this, take this fractal here to about here. You see, very similar. So we trend up toward the 50K mark, then we come down, then we just go sideways here into the halving. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I wish you all a prosperous 2023. I'm sorry it was a bit long, but you know, this is I'm trying to put a bullish case for Bitcoin here. Yeah, hope you're all well. If you want to join the group, just reach out to me on Twitter or check out our website. We have a VIP group, which is probably one of the best in the business. Obviously, I'm going to be biased, and this is a shameless plug, but it really is a great group, and it's extremely affordable. Okay, take care, and I shall speak to you soon. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.